Monday. I don't know what day it is, but we're here and we're live with Kirsten. I am on the beach here in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, and I'm joined by Kirsten. I recently became acquainted with Kirsten via George Webb, who she has a regular show with. And
Hmm.
I just wanted to ask some more questions to get to know Kirsten better and learn about her background as a YouTuber, a citizen journalist, and
Hmm.
someone who is a patriot and supportive of our president, and surprisingly is still on the airwaves like myself. So I wanted to thank you, Kirsten, for chatting with me today. And
Oh,
we can
yeah.
also talk about our plans to do something in Florida as well, which is where you are located, as far as I know. You're down south on the deep south.
I'm in the Gulf. I'm in on the Gulf. Yeah, correct.
Okay,
Hmm.
excellent. And this is your fourth show today, I believe you said.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to ask you a few more questions, Kirsten, about what I guess why you started your YouTube channel. Was it to to cover geopolitics? Because, for example, I actually started my YouTube channel uh, not with any intention to cover current events, but it just kind of developed that way. Was
Yeah.
that similar to you, or were you always going to be covering current events?
No, I started my YouTube channel because I did a couple infomercials and I had a TV show in Singapore that was an architectural show because I'm an interior designer by trade. So that was what I was promoting, my shows, my infomercials for different products, really, sales.
Okay. And you started doing that work like as a pivot from modeling, because as I understand
Yeah.
you, I think we mentioned briefly you were a Playboy model a couple years ago, right?
We are, yeah, we.
Just
I
last year, I
don't
think it
discuss
was.
that much on my shows. The credibility level goes way down. So yeah, we have to do what we have to do sometimes to to go forward.
Well,
Hmm.
you're obviously a smart person, Kirsten, and you've been covering uh, geopolitics pretty much every day for quite a while. You got quite the following as well. What have you been picking up on the past couple of days as it pertains to this election? Because that's really what people are interested in seeing us chat about. I think is everything that's going on right now with this country and our election here in the United States. For example, I just read just recently that some another affidavit came out in Michigan from the election board in Wayne County, which is Detroit County, as we know, saying that multiple members of that election board got threatened by high level politicians as it pertained to the election process there in Wayne County. They had their families threatened as well. And I just want to know what you've been focusing your attention on the past couple days and in this week.
Well, let's talk about Michigan. Hmm. So basically, whoever's in the election board is obviously, those people must be extremely corrupt. So they're creating a narrative to say that they're being threatened and their families are being threatened, which I highly doubt, considering there were 61 boxes of ballots that came into Detroit. Under the supervision, of course, another corrupt Secretary of State, Jocelyn, let's make her famous, Benson, along with Kathy Boockvar of Pennsylvania, who had 150,000 ballots changed from Trump to Biden in Philly, and 300,000 ballots changed from Trump to Biden in Pittsburgh. So we have her. We have a lot of corrupt Secretary of States that were put in by George Soros before he croaked, and still, because his funds are public domain. So they're open society funds. So basically, he's still affecting our elections, even though he's croaked a couple years ago.
Yeah, yeah. And what with everything that's going on, we mentioned before when we were talking with George, the key counties of not only Wayne County but Clark County as well in Las Vegas. I know we mentioned Ann Vandersteel. That's kind of her stomping ground. But besides,
Now,
yeah, she used to
Florida
be
was her
by
stomping
you, right,
ground. There
Kirsten?
you go.
She used to be in your neck of the woods before that,
No,
or
she was on the other side, but as you know, Anne's my analog. If you know what that means, that would be the adjective analog. Okay. So figure it out. And she's my BFF and she's my analog. So when we're together, we're pretty devastating.
the dynamic duo.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Mhm.
And Fulton County as well, as we mentioned, Atlanta, Georgia, which
Mhm.
heading to, and then of course
I'm
Arizona.
supposed to go there too, I think. Supposed to go there with you guys. Yeah.
Excellent. Yeah, yeah. Let's do that, Kirsten. If you're going to be in the area, let's definitely meet up. And then of course, Brad Johnson was a former chief of station for the CIA. We spoke with earlier this week. Besides Pennsylvania, his big focus was of course Arizona in Maricopa County. So
Oh
uh,
gosh, that county's awful. 125% voting. They voted in Kirsten Cinema when that's a conservative county, so you know it's totally corrupt. And there's another county um, in Arizona that starts with a P that's also corrupt. I haven't really gone into that county, but
mhm.
my Mr. Wonderful knows more. He lives there, so yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
okay, fantastic.
yeah.
Yeah, Maricopa County too is just from the reading that I've done, very corrupt judicially and its judicial system. For example, the sheriff there, Joe Arpaio, runs perhaps the most dangerous county jail in the United States there in Maricopa County, and he
Well,
actually got pardoned by Trump. So that's something that I really didn't like that Trump did, but uh, to his credit, he's done a lot of great things, including this uh, anti-war actions or inactions is probably a better way to put it.
well, I need to correct you on Joe Arpaio. He's really a patriot, and he was exited, and he's not in a position anymore. And he's the one that released um, Mr. Barack Obama's real birth certificate, that the birth certificate that's a fraud. He exposed it. And he also exposed the fact that Joe Biden was arrested when he was younger with a group of boys for um, taking off a traffic signal in Delaware. So, yeah, a few little tidbits there. Mm.
Okay, okay, I did not know that about the certificate. I just didn't like the way he treated my friend Sean when he was in jail over there, and the other inmates. So that's my beef with Mr. Arpaio. But
Yeah, he's a patriot, but you know, in the looking at the big scheme of things, that's why he's not in control anymore because he's a patriot, basically. Yes, and they've tried to have him murdered, so you know he's really a patriot. When the Kramer family, that's linked to corrupt Mitt Romney, the biggest rhino ever, tries to have you taken out. That would include the other rhino who's taken out. That would be No Name McCain. And the other remaining rhino, Jeff Flake.
okay, and
Mm.
just for people who don't know, Rhino is like neocon, right?
Rhino, no, Rhino is Republican in name only. Neocon is someone that enjoys wars and makes money from it. Might
Okay,
be an X model, but I know that.
right. I associate the neocons with the early 2000s reign, kind of like the Bush and like Scooter Libby and all them. So Rhino, Republican in name only. So that
Mhm.
means that they don't vote party lines, or is there a generational thing to it? Because I've heard it used in several different contexts. I'm just trying to figure it out.
Well, they don't vote according to party lines because No Name McCain voted for Obamacare, and he was the one that pushed Obamacare because he was funding and arming ISIS for Obama. And he's another reason we have very bad infrastructure is because he was buying damaged steel from China. That's what a low life that one was.
Wow. So Republicans in name only. And who are, because I think we see a lot of the bad guys as the same here. I don't know who do you see as some of the good guys. I was watching, for example, Sidney Powell earlier today over at Wes's. We were watching her and actually Giuliani address the press.
Mm,
Sidney Powell, it does seem like someone who is fighting for the good guys, and
mm,
Giuliani, albeit he's a little kind of all over the place, and I don't know, seems to be somewhat of a distraction or detraction more than a boon. But regardless, seems to be doing some good as
mm.
well. Who else do you see as part of the light side, the good guys, the Patriots?
Oh, there's a lot of patriots. You know, General Flynn's a patriot. The ones that have taken a lot of flack. Devin Nunes, if you watch that documentary, The Plot Against the President, took a lot of flack. And, of course, I'm interested in more the ethnic ones since I'm ethnic. I'm Chinese from Singapore. We have fellow Asian Dinesh D'Souza with all his movies. Went to jail because of fellow Indian Preet Bharara, who is the sidekick of the most corrupt attorney in the United States, Andrew Weissman of Enron, collapsing Arthur Anderson, and going after Trump in the Mueller probe that cost way over $44 million. They need to take that lawfare attorney and the 500 leftover attorneys in the Department of Justice that were not elected and put in by Obama out. That's why we have to drain the swamp.
And how do you see things playing out over the next couple of weeks, if at all? Because this is something that this election sting or steal was spoken about before by various people that I've talked to. But regardless, it still did seem to surprise some people a bit, insofar as his victory just seems so secure. And I think, anybody who's paying attention understands that Trump did win, and he won handily.
Well,
But
73.5 million votes as opposed to 25 million votes. That's a little bit of a difference.
yeah, and we got the runoff on the 5th of January for the Georgia Senate. 2 Senate seats open there, which is going to be huge, as well as the decision by Judge Barrister over at the Old Bailey in London on the Julian Assange case as well. And I don't know what your thoughts are on Mr. Assange, Kirsten. I'd be interested to know that.
He's a huge patriot, Julian Assange, who is a big exposer. I'm a huge exposer, so I appreciate that. He was framed by traitor that flips quite a bit, Edward Snowden of the CIA. So, yes, anything with the name CIA is usually corrupt and bad and rotten. So we do have quite a few of them left, 20,000 of them left. So is what's her name doing a really good job? That would be Gina Haspel. I don't know. Yeah, she might have to be exited.
Yeah, again, in our interview we did earlier this week, we were talking about how it seems like everything she is doing is to protect herself or prepare in case, her time does come. Where Mr. Johnson said that, or Brad said that she is just basically, in John Brennan's pocket no matter what happens, and how.
Well, John Brennan's in jail, so
In
Yeah.
jail?
Yes.
You mean wait, can you expand on that? He's not
John
arrested.
Brennan was arrested. Okay, let's go through a few arrests. There's a lot of arrests. The reason why my channel's so popular, CirstenW, CW Backup, and CW Connect, all three channels, 127,000 subscribers. The reason why it's popular is because I have military intel, and I warn about the assassination attempts on Donald Trump, and I talk about the arrest, which I have confirmed by Major General Moore. Okay, so we have a few arrests. That would be James Comey, 4 April the 4th this year. We have Lisa Page, who doctors Flynn's 302s, who slept with Comey, and McCabe and Strzok. She slept with all three of them, and she was arrested 4/5 along with her third lover, Peter Strzok, and also James Clapper arrested 4/5, and the pièce de résistance, Mr. Lotion the Pumpkin, aka John Brennan, arrested for April the 6th. And the email said these arrests also include the former AG Lynch, Loretta Lynch, flipped. We have, who else do we have? We have Susan Rice, the major unmasker of many people, and her protege, the fake whistleblower, Eric CIA Ella, whose name we couldn't say. And he stole millions and hundreds of millions of dollars for her, another CIA operative that basically he was working for the World Bank, and he also created the Hungary, not Hungary, Ukraine Holocaust, which 100 police and protesters were shot, and he hired the snipers. So the United States would send funds, and when the United States sends funds into a country, the Democratic Party mostly parasites and gets a kickback of 20%.
And you're referring to the 2014 conflict in Ukraine. Is that correct?
Correct.
So you're saying these arrests already happened this year in April?
Yes. Around some of them after. We have McCabe. We have who else do we have? We have Bruce Orr. He might have flipped. We have a couple others. Comey arrested, released with an ankle monitor. And you have to be very astute and use your brain if you have not gone to an Ivy League school and gotten indoctrinated to think that you're more intelligent than everyone else, and your logic and common sense are still intact. You would realize that you're not actually seeing the person that is typing behind the Twitter account. So when I said, Lisa Page, who's typing from your account, you're in jail, and she responded, oh, this woman says a lot of bad things that I sleep around, and I'm an operative, which you are, and tried to get everyone to attack me. I said, and I put a tweet on top of her tweet saying, if you're really Susan Page tweeting, please show a video with today's date and the newspaper from today above your head so we know it's really you. And no response. So who's tweeting from those accounts? And that would be some CIA operative, or maybe someone that works for the Southern Poverty Law Center, or some other leftist radical, group.
Wow. Okay, so all of those.
Come to my page, you'll learn a lot.
What was that, Kirsten?
I said, come to my page, you'll learn a lot, little boy.
Little boy,
Yeah.
I like it, Kirsten.
Yeah, it's good. We like to have proteges. It's good. It's all good.
Okay. Thanks, old lady. Appreciate it.
It's all good. Yeah.
Okay, so if all these people are arrested, as you say, we have nothing much to fear then, do we?
Well, I'll tell you what it said in the email, okay? Of course, this is what it said. It said these people and more have been arrested, confirmed by Major General Moore. You can look him up. He's got a long list of credits. He worked in the Pentagon and everything. He said, but as you know, Jeffrey Epstein and Bill Clinton were huge into cloning. So most of these probably have clones. And and of course, the mainstream media will never expose this. And I would not be surprised if all of them were cloned. That was the last portion of his email.
All those people mentioned arrested.
Yes, that's what he talked about. Yes. Because the CIA has to have doubles and clones and whatever else. They have to, because that's why we call them the clowns in America, because it's like a circus. The cocaine importing agency, the clowns in America, whatever you want to call them, it's a freak show. And it's a freak show.
You mentioned Epstein. What about Ghislaine, as they say, not Ghislaine? Ghislaine Maxwell. Is that a body double? Is she in custody? Ghislaine, yeah, there you go. Is she in custody or no? Is that a double?
I think that she's been talking for a very long time. I don't know if she's in custody, but I do believe that Jeffrey Epstein is alive. I see that I'm a little anal now. I see that that lampshade is kind of tilting on my side. So I'm trying to sit up so I can block. It's distracting. Anyway, I do believe that Epstein is still alive, and he's being held where they hold the premier prisoners at Iceworm Base in Greenland.
You think he's in Greenland?
Yes.
Okay, so they hold like the most VIP inmates there?
Correct.
Wow. Okay. So Epstein has cloned then too, and Ghislaine, presumably.
Well, the clone of Epstein. They killed it because it was, you saw the burns around his neck. That was whatever that was, a clone, and you can usually tell the clones by the ears, because they have to attach the ears later, and they're not the same as the original person's ears. So
why
they're
do they have to attach the ears later?
Because they haven't perfected the technique.
Okay, so you're saying that when they clone people, they don't have ears?
I don't know what they have, but there's 3 different kinds of clones, and some of them that are done quickly, that are not done the exact way that you would when you have a pregnancy in 9 months. Those quick ones are not done very well. You saw the one of, Kamala Harris that didn't even look like her, that had way smaller teeth, a lighter complexion, different eyes. It was just a whole different person altogether. But you got to keep your eyes open. And of course, you know that the original Hillary Clinton is deceased as of 5 months ago, also at Iceworm Base in Greenland.
Okay.
You wanted me on your show, right?
Thanks for coming on, Kirsten. You just said that the real Hillary's dead and the clone's alive. Is that what you said?
Correct. It's not even a clone. It's a double. Hillary has doubles. When the originals passed on, the clones don't survive very well due to quantum entanglement. So they use doubles. So if you take a good look at the Hillary they have now, it's not even similar to the real Hillary. It's a double. That's what they had for Ruth Bader Ginsburg too. For 2 years, they had doubles, because she's been deceased since January 2019, or even before that. So she's been dead. It could be since 2018. So yeah.
Why would they do that though? Because if they are deep state, wouldn't they want to have Ruth Bader Ginsburg in that Supreme Court position, as opposed to us? conservative like Amy Barrett?
Yeah, that's why they had the double, so they could say she was still alive to control the votes.
Okay, and the double. So then the double just tapped out, and the double died, and that was that.
No, the double didn't die. They just got jammed into a corner and had to finally admit that that she was dead, which she was dead like years ago, and the body parts were cremated. So there's no anything of her left.
Okay, okay. Wow.
They have to have doubles to pretend that they're still in control. Do you understand? That is visual to the public. They control the mainstream media, which is 90% of the media, which is not us. And through Gannett, to 6 companies, as you know. Did you know about that?
I did not. Please expound.
The CIA controls the media through Gannett in Virginia. Virginia is CIA East. Colorado Airport, International Airport, is CIA West. CIA East has the farm, which is where Nellie Orr, Bruce Orr's wife, attended school, and she's fluent in Russian and other languages, along with Peter Strzok, who speaks Farsi. So, what else? Oh, the CIA controls the media, and there are 6 companies that control all your media. That would be Disney, used to be General Electric, but I think they've gotten purchased by Comcast. Trump calls it Comcast. News Corp, Viacom, CBS, and Time Warner or Warner Brothers, whatever you want to call it. That's 6 companies that control all your media. They all say the same words, the same thing. They get their talking points at 4 a.m. in the morning. And that's what happens, people.
Okay. I mean, obviously, I knew about Mockingbird and the CIA's control, but they control it through this. I guess this tech agency in Virginia. You said it was. What was it?
Gannett. Gannett. Gannett.
Okay. Okay. And where, so you put a lot of trust in this source you have, and Major General Moore.
Sources, numerous.
Sources. Okay. Do you think there's a possibility that they are indirectly handling you?
No.
No? You're handling them.
No.
Kirsten's handling them.
I'm not handling them, but I'm helping the situation because I have a high common sense quotient, number 1. Number 2, they would never expect someone that looks like me to be a very good patriot / operative.
Maybe that's why our channels are still going, Kirsten. What do you think?
Maybe because we're both ethnic and it doesn't fall into the Nazi propaganda from Operation Paperclip, racist, Nazi, a brown shirt, conspiracy theory, fascist, misogynist. No. Why is BCP, Black Conservative Patriot, still on? Because he's black and he's got almost 500,000 subscribers.
Yeah, yeah. Unfortunately,
and my manager has scrubbed all my channels, so there's been over 400 or 500 videos that have been taken off. So my channels have been scrubbed. So I keep it clean. I'm very aware what not to say, what to say, and I'm just careful now.
What do you think about? And so there's a country in the Middle East. It starts with the letter I. What do you think about the U.S.'s our relationship with that particular country? Do you find it to be healthy? Do you find it to be necessary? What are your thoughts?
You mean IR?
No, the other one, IS.
in the Middle East.
You can do it, Kirsten.
IS.
Someone here,
Um,
someone type it in the chat, and then I'll put it on the screen.
okay. IS.
Jared Kushner. Think of Jared Kushner.
Israel. Oh, okay. All right. What do I think about what?
Our relationship with that country, the U.S.'s relationship. What do you think about it?
Well, they get a lot of funds from the US, probably 11 million a day. So I think that I know that most of our phone calls are routed through Israel, and that's why there's a slight delay when you get a phone call. And I know that the Mossad is in control of many people, like triple spy Dianne Feinstein. We have Adam Schiff. We have, I don't want to get myself killed, but let's not go in, not too much into that situation. Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, they're
Well,
corrupt. They're corrupt. Obviously, the what's it? BB's the prime minister, correct? BB's the prime minister. So the president congratulated Biden. So we know he's compromised. So basically, yes. BB did not. So yeah. So it's all
okay.
good. Yeah.
Okay. So, can I keep going on that country, or do you want to end there? Is that the red line for you?
I mean, I don't want to name names.
Okay. Okay. Let's talk about, since we're there. Let's talk about Epstein's Mossad connection and the CIA connection too. Do you think that Mossad is more powerful than the CIA? Because I've asked people this before too, and they didn't believe that the CIA would allow Epstein to run Mossad operations in the United States, which I found to be a little naive. But what do you think?
Okay. The three-letter agencies and Mossad, let's consider that a three-letter agency, all work together. Give me a break. That would be MI6 and MI5, the CIA, the FBI, the Mossad. They're all intel and they all work together. They're a team. So, I mean, basically, I think Mossad, their intel is higher. They're more intelligent. They're more astute. They haven't had as much technology stolen from them, like the cloaking device that was stolen in the Malaysian Airlines crash. Um, we have the CIA that is more rough-handed and more brutal, and the Mossad that's more refined agency that still, that still does exit people, but they don't use the freeze gun to give you a heart attack or a brain hemorrhage, but they have other weapons that they use that could kill you in a very short time. And we have the FBI that does the cleanup for the CIA, just like they did in the Vegas shooting, where it was the failed assassination attempt on Prince Alawid, that's now Prince Salman by Prince Alawid, Dopey, that funded Obama's education, and that was a failed attempt. The two assassins that were getting the guns from the CIA gun runner for over 2 decades, Jerry Paddock, killed Paddock. They were shooting at the people, and then they were shot by the FBI who did the cleanup. So
It was
same cleanup.
was it
Multiple
Jerry or Stephen Paddock? Was it Stephen Paddock or
Stephen
Jerry?
Paddock. Sorry, Steve. I can't remember his name. Stephen Paddock. Yeah, you're correct. Sorry. No one's perfect. That's my fourth show. Come on.
No, you're pretty close though, Kirsten. But
Yeah.
I want to go back to these arrests, because it's just, I'm still like processing it. If like, what are you worried about then? If they are arrested, are they going to see capital punishment?
I don't know what they're doing. I think that, there's so many corrupt people. I don't think there's enough jail there's enough rooms in the jails to house them all. Although they did let out all the criminals, so maybe they could house them there. But basically, I think they're trying to get information from them to get the higher ups. They're always trying to get the higher ups. That's why the Patriots also allow the doubles or the clones to go out, because they're trying to see who they're reporting to and where they're going. So they allow them to go to their handlers that are higher up.
Okay.
A
So
little different from Anne. I can tell it's a little different from Anne's interview. Anne's interview was a little bit more congenial. There you go. You got the good girl, and then you got the dangerous one. Now you got the dangerous one. There you go.
are you a femme fatale there, Kirsten? That I should be worried about?
No comment. No one's gonna admit to being a serial killer, are they? No, just kidding.
She pleads the fifth like a true patriot.
Yeah,
I like
exactly.
it.
No comment. My thing is, I don't recall. No comment. There you go.
Okay, so it sounds like you think Trump's got this in the bag then.
Yeah, I do. I think it's going to be the same scenario as an Al Gore, but he's pretty much got him by the gonads from a couple different directions. Number one, with the ballots, with the blockchain identifier that they have tracked. That's why he knew that he had over 71 million votes when he tweeted it out. But it's really actually 73.5 million votes. So he knew that about with the blockchain technology. Number two, he's got him another direction where he signed a executive order in 2018 stating that if there was any kind of foreign interference with the election, it would be null and void, which means he stays president. And that would mean that all the election interference from all three servers, Dominion, Seidel, and Smartmatic, Seidel and Smartmatic are linked and owned by Soros and Bill Gates. There's no election. It's a huge fraud. So he's got them pretty much coming and going. Now he's got to convince the general public, and with a mainstream media that won't expose anything about the arrests, that won't expose anything about the clones, that won't expose anything about anything that they don't want to. So he has got to take down the mainstream media, which is the 1,000-foot Goliath, and expose them, and then do some arrest in some cases, because they are radical leftists that will just attack. Okay. And of course, the many corrupt attorneys, Ian Basson and Norm Eisen from the Transition Integrity Project, and that was started by Rosa Brooks, I'm sorry. That was started by Rosa Brooks. Basically, Norm Eisen has sued Donald Trump 180 times. So those radicals need to be taken out. So there's a lot of them. So we are doing our little bit of help for our president. So we're helping him, basically.
Okay, wow. I really hope you're right, Kirsten, because all those people you mentioned, Struck, Brennan, Page, etc. I do think, capital punishment is not off the table, because Brad made a great point earlier this week that there has to be a deterrent for future attempted overthrows of the republic.
Right.
And I think that would go a long way to deter the communists from making overt moves, or the globalists, whatever you want to use to describe these people. So I really do hope you're right, because I would. The thing is, though, like even like Ghislaine Maxwell or any of these people, John Brennan, they need to, like the Mexicans did with El Chapo. They need to show us, like, they're by the scruff of the neck, like, like a trophy hunter. Like, we got them. This is that. Here they are. Show the profile and then show the straight on shot too, like what they did with Chapo, because that's what the Los Federales in Mexico had to do. They had to prove that they had him in custody. Whereas with Ghislaine Maxwell, like, we don't know if any of these people are even, in the United States, let alone in custody at the end of the day. So that's what I would like to see.
Well, how are you going to see that if they control the mainstream media?
So you think that Trump can clean up the media and take down the CIA's control of the media?
He has to. His hands will be a lot less tied once we start draining the swamp. He's doing it slowly, but I mean, he's doing it actually very quickly, but it's still slow. But you're dealing with almost, a century of corruption or longer. I mean, it's a lot you're doing in a very short time. So yes, we're here to expose the truth, but we can only wake up so many people at a time. Unfortunately, if you people are sending your kids to Ivy League schools like Harvard, CIA, Stanford, CIA, Yale, CIA, Cornell, let's keep going, MIT, Georgetown, all of those schools are being probed because they got $6.5 billion, $6.5 billion for their I don't know, education or indoctrination of their students. And so that is why we have a huge amount of corrupt attorneys, and we have a huge amount of uneducated radicals, like in the birthplace of Antifa, which is Oregon, Portland.
Yeah, that's where I was earlier this year in that part of the country. I was in Eugene, Oregon, in communist country, but I had to get out. I just had to get back to the Midwest and get back to real America. But you mentioned Georgetown. That's where Strzok went to school. Peter Strzok. That's where he went to school. I know. And I wanted to ask about this guy too, A.G. Barr. What do you think about Barr? Is he a good guy? Is he a bad guy? Are we seeing a body double? Is that his third clone? What's going on with Barr?
If you see what they did with Barr and how much the mainstream media, you can always tell who the good ones are, bad ones are. If the mainstream media starts to attack the person relentlessly, like they did with Barr, like they did with like they're still doing with Donald Trump, like they're starting to do with Tom Cotton today, and like they're starting to do with Kelly Loeffler, the senator from Georgia, they're good people, because once the radical media sends their attack dogs, which you can look through all over, they have a stack of them after these people spreading fake news, that they're good, because they wouldn't be attacking their own. Oh, actually they might, but mostly they attack the other side.
Yeah, they maybe aren't that sophisticated enough. So you think Barr is the ace in the hole for Trump?
I don't think Barr is the ace in the hole. I think that Barr is throttling back. I don't know why, but he's throttling back because we never received the FISA that we were supposed to receive, because I think that might have been a lot of information that people couldn't even digest. I think that from the last drop of that alphabet that I can't even say, let's just call it CUE, the last word was Durham. Durham was hired by Jeff Sessions, Mr. 200,000 sealed indictments, which, one of the sealed indictments could contain more than one indictment, basically was attacked relentlessly by the media. And yeah, he is a patriot. So anyone that they attack relentlessly, they're patriots. That's how you know them. Like God says, you will know them by their character, and you'll know them by how much they're being attacked.
Brad was saying about Barr, I think basically the same thing that you just said, but in different words. He said that if Barr is going to stab Trump in the back, he has played it the whole thing masterfully, which I think he's right about, because it does seem like, I don't know, it seems to me like they're waiting. They're going to let the audit and the judicial process play out, right? It seems like Trump's being very patient during this time. And once the election and this is secure, once the presidency is secure, then they're going to go after uh, everyone. What do you think?
Who's Brad?
Brad Johnson. He's one of our I guess correspondents or interviewees is a
I'm like,
better
who the hell's Brad? Like, who's
interviewees.
that?
He's an interviewee that we've talked to a couple times. He's a former chief of station, and he to him he sees Barr as the key, really, as what's going to happen with the Republic as far as falling or not. And I've heard other people talk about Barr as the ace in the hole, and I'm just not sure. You know, with his dad was the one that gave Epstein the job at Dalton. Barr's dad did. So he definitely has, you know, he just has CIA written all over him, it seems like. So that's why I'm like very hesitant to think that he is one of the good guys. But that's not to say that he can't be flipped, or he hasn't already, flipped to the good side.
Well, you will know soon. And Barr, if you read the last article on him, was very into prosecuting voter fraud. So, oops, what happened? Off
I'm
camera.
here.
Okay. Anyway, so, basically he's into prosecuting voter fraud. So, Bill Barr, time to get those three: Jocelyn Benson, Kathy Bookfar, and Katie Hops. Just three. That's all I have to say. Move a little faster. I know this is America, where it takes years sometimes to get some criminals, but we got to move a little faster.
Yeah.
That's all I have to say.
Okay. And but before we wrap up this evening, Kirsten, I want to thank you for joining me as
Okay.
as I losing daylight here on the beach. What do you think is? I mean, where do you think the pressure point is? Because I mentioned before Barr's importance as well. Is it just a matter of Donald Trump just has to not make any huge mistakes, or how do you see us winning this thing?
I think if you remember, it's just like the Al Gore situation with the hanging chads, okay? Whereas this is more voter fraud and election rigging. So, if you remember what happened, the media had crowned Al Gore the president, remember? And then there was a recount of the hanging chads, and what happened? Bush became president. So it's like a repeat. But this time, Donald Trump's doing a better job because he's exposing the voter fraud internationally, and he's going to ensure that we don't have this problem in 2024.
Yeah, and that's the point I want to make too. Is I'm supportive of Donald Trump, but I actually, just as it happened, I didn't vote this year, but I'm not like a sycophant for Trump or one of these, because there are people that I think that are just kind of follow him religiously, which people don't really want to talk about because it's somewhat besides the point. But they do I think more harm than good when it comes to getting people to realize that Donald Trump is fighting for our country. So I
Right.
just wanted
I
to
mean,
state that too. So
as a legal immigrant, I didn't sign up to live in an illegal hellhole, number one. Number two, as an Asian and Seventh-day Adventist, such second generation, that's very practical and pragmatic. I vote on two things. Not on, how my president talks or not on if he's had numerous affairs. No, I don't care about that. That's his personal business. I I'm not voting for my newest pastor. I'm voting for the president, which means close borders. I seen what happened to California after I grew up there when I was a teenager at 15 years old. I seen what it became from open borders and low to no taxes. Those are the 2 points that I vote on. And that's it. When you get into the nitty gritty, if he's had affairs, how the way he talks, you would be a puritanical conservative, which is a term that Candace Owen coined, that is a very perfectionistic, judgmental attitude, and you're living in an imperfect world, and you're trying to gain perfection, which there's no perfection. It's all a big facade. The mainstream media, is like putting lipstick on a pig. So really, have a reality check, and that's the way a person with a high common sense quotient and logic votes, not someone that is brainwashed by an Ivy League school to think that they're very intelligent and they're arrogant. So their common sense and logic has gone out the window.
Common sense quotient. I'm gonna steal that, Kirsten. I think
Yeah,
that's
that's a high common sense quotient. That's how you make it in life. You don't have to be the most intelligent. I wouldn't say I was the most intelligent, but I would say I have a high common sense quotient. Yes, I do speak a couple languages, and I keep myself looking attractive. But basically, you got to have a high common sense quotient to make it in life. You don't have to be a genius. You just have to have high common sense quotient. That will save you a lot of heartaches and delusion in your life. And a lot of people are walking around delusional.
Yeah, and this is something that I've talked about before with people. For example, Peter Duke is a photographer, videographer that I've interviewed, and he uses the word hypnotize, which I think is a really accurate word because, and these are people I know, and I think we all know people like this, right? Where it's like you mentioned, I don't vote for the president based on whether I would want him to date my mom or my sister or whether I would hang out with him, you know?
Mm.
I don't vote for him based on any sort of internal judgmental code I have. You have to vote based on what's going on out in the real world, right? In reality. And
Mm.
being idealistic is, there's a reason that they're called ideals. It's because it's not reality. It's not what's actually going on. Now,
Mm.
I think it's okay to strive for a better tomorrow, and I think we all should do that. But there has to be that tempered by reasoning with reality in a reasonable way, not to be too redundant here, the Department of Redundancy department. But let's end it there, Kirsten.
Yeah,
Any final
definitely.
thoughts?
Definitely. I would say that it's not good to get too familiar with the president. It's not good to get, with my subscribers, too familiar with me because you really don't know me personally. So, I don't need you to get into my personal business, which has got nothing to do with my public persona. There you go.
I wasn't planning on doing that, Kirsten.
No, I'm telling people that are delusional and imbalanced because they have no logic or common sense that a lot of them are crossing the line. Yeah. That's my message to people. Stay in your lane, concentrate on yourself. Don't pretend that you know the president personally, like the many Trump deranged syndrome freaks out there, derangement syndrome, and that can't answer basic question like, what has he personally done to you? Which there's no answer to. So if you want a reality check and a confrontation really quickly, you can have a little conversation with me, and I'll give you a little shock treatment.
And you played such an important role for us, Kirsten, because of the fact you are a woman who is a minority race here in America. You know, and you are speaking up to these loons who, you know, just throw. That's why partially why I had to leave Oregon. It's because that was the only place I've ever been called racist was in Oregon. So, you know, there's only so much reality these people can ignore before it catches up with them. So, I would love to chat again, Kirsten,
Oh,
and
definitely.
can we talk afterwards about possible collaboration in the future before
Oh,
you head out?
definitely. You're writing my book. You're coming to stay at my house. I'm sure we will have conversations, but maybe we can keep the long ones for the camera so they can get an idea of, everything that we're saying. So that would be great. We can do it in person. And yes, George and I have already discussed your future. So it's a good thing to have some proteges along the way. And he did thank me for being a contributor to your future. So it's good. Yeah,
Well, thank
you're
you,
the next
Kirsten. I appreciate
generation.
it.
You're the next generation. So we have to invest in you. In a couple of decades, we won't be here anymore, and you're going to be the ones that carry on. So we need to impart our wisdom to you so you can carry on. Yeah.
I'm just trying to soak up all this information and all this wisdom that the Jedi Masters are giving to me, and I appreciate your information you gave me today, Kirsten. It's definitely going to give me something interesting to discuss tonight with the people I'm hanging around with tonight. So I want to thank you again, Kirsten, for chatting
Oh,
with
you're
me.
welcome. I'm honored and you're welcome. And it was a pleasure doing your show. And hopefully we can do it in person real soon within the next week. Yeah.
I hope so too.
I'll be
Stay
picking you up at
frosty,
the
folks.
airport. I'll be picking you up at the airport. We even discussed that. I'm like, you need to fly him into that airport and that town because that's how far I'm willing to drive. Okay.
I did not know that. Wow, that's
Yeah.
fantastic, Kirsten.
It's
Thanks,
nice.
everybody.
It's nice that the adults get to decide your future, right? It's all good.
You know what I said to Anne? I was like, I texted her. I was like, "Thanks for letting me sit at the grown-ups table."
Anne is
Thanksgiving.
Anne is so nice. I mean, I never saw your interview with her, but I mean she's just she's Miss Congeniality. And I'm not. I'm the opposite. Yeah, I
Yeah,
say the stuff that no one wants to say. I just say it because
well,
life
yeah,
is
we need
short.
people like you, Kirsten, to do that, and I think that's part of my role too. Because I think part of the role, I don't know if it's like a middle child thing or what it is, but it seems like the middle child just wants to point out whatever's going on, even if it's not the best, the best timing or the most PC thing to do. So
Right,
that's what I love about this channel. It gives me an excuse to, say, hey, that's going on over there. And
right.
everybody's like, Addie, hell up. You're not supposed to say that. Well, actually, now I can, thanks to my YouTube channel, thanks to people like you, Kirsten, who are talking to me as well. So,
It's a free country. You have a First Amendment right that you need to use. And if someone tries to, control that or censor that's against the law. But what do they know about the law these days? Really?
we
Yeah.
are the law. We are the law. Citizen journalists.
Yeah. But thank you very much. I'm very honored to be on your channel, and I'm glad to be on the team. So when you watch Ann and I work together, you'll see it's going to be dangerous. There you
Okay.
go.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks for the warning, Kirsten. Thanks,
Okay.
everybody, for tuning in. Stay
Thank you.
frosty, and we will see you all next time. God
Yeah.
bless the United States, and God bless the president.
Can I say
Cheers. Yeah,
MAGA?
go ahead.
MAGA, many are getting arrested. COG, keep arrests going. There, there you go.
You're here.
Okay.
Bye.